Inflation is like an expensive ex-girlfriend. You go out, you have a great time, you wake up in the morning, suddenly your wallet is way lighter than you remember. But hey, at least one was in the butt stuff, and the other one was your ex.
I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah, this all God, this ain't no love. Yeah.
I might as well have spent another day on vacation with a day like this. SPY did absolutely nothing. But we've seen this before. It's because of the inflation data that's coming out on Wednesday. Keep in mind, we also have FOMC minutes coming out, although I don't think it's nearly as important as this inflation data that we're going to see. And in their most recent report, Goldman Sachs actually anticipated CPI to be higher month over month and nearly unchanged year over year. Last year was 3.8%. They're expecting 3.7%. And part of the reasoning for this higher CPI month over month was higher energy and food prices. And energy definitely has my attention right now. If we look at the 1 minute chart, we can see that today we actually had a pullback on USL. But if we look at the daily chart here, we can see that we've hit a pretty key level here, and then we've had a pullback. And I wouldn't be surprised if this actually turns into something like a cup and handle before we spring to maybe this 95 and we hit a multi-year high. And the one thing that's making me say that is we're actually seeing that on the monthly TTM squeeze, we're actually firing to the upside. We do have a confirmation on the weekly as well, showing some strength. And then you just look at this daily chart, you just see the way the technicals are showing up. If this actually was to fire to the upside, it could be a much bigger move higher. And this is kind of what we've also seen reflected in the greater market. Keep in mind, SPY's been melting up all year. And I think you got to start thinking that this is the market actually telling you that hyperinflation could be a concern. The other thing that we need to take a look at is the commodity index. Okay, this is Bloomberg's commodity index. Look at this move. This is a weekly breakout on the TTM actually, with some big volume coming in. Very atypical to see in commodities. We can see confirmation of this on the daily chart as well. This could be the start of a much bigger move to the upside. So when you piece all that together, when you look at something like this gold chart, this makes perfect sense to me, this parabolic move that we're seeing. And in fact, I really think you have to go out to the monthly chart to understand how parabolic this move really is. We haven't seen moves like this out of gold in over a decade. This type of breakout to all-time new highs. And keep in mind, this also makes silver plays look very appealing, like PAAS, which Discord members have been very fond of and has set up some plays in. They're making some money, but I would just exercise some caution. It's not as strong fundamentally as gold, and I mean, silver could just be such a rug pull sometimes. But to be honest, I have some PTSD, so I'm pretty biased against silver. This also does make me wonder if this is the real reason why we've seen Bitcoin kind of diverge from some of the historical patterns that we were originally anticipating. However, it still doesn't really change my long-term outlook yet. So the question that we need to have in the back of our minds heading into CPI is if this actually is slightly higher month over month. Now, again, we're only expecting slightly higher. And remember, year over year, it's still slightly down, even though it's just very, very slightly down. It is down. We have to start asking the question of, hey, if this continues to build back month over month, the Fed doesn't cut, the Fed doesn't hike, and we stay the same, but demand stays high, prices come up, will there eventually be a breaking point where the Fed says, wow, we have to fight inflation, or this is going to be an issue? Will we get another hike? And even if we don't get another hike, this inflation continuing to creep up will definitely prevent us from getting these cuts. And the market has priced in many cuts, more cuts than the Fed even said. I mean, just look at this market. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I'm still looking for us to touch at least this 50-day moving average like we did in 2021. And that was a literal bubble. So when I'm looking at even the melt up that we saw on Friday, this doesn't look particularly bullish to me. We saw it actually give up this 520. Today, we saw that again serve as resistance in this market. This right here, you know what this makes me think? This makes me think that the market is like that guy at the party who's telling everyone how tough he is when no one even challenged him, no one even asked. Bro, you want to have a drinking competition, bro? I bet I could do more push-ups than you, bro. You want to arm wrestle? And we know how that ends. He's got just enough time to call his ex a few times to take him back because he misses her so much. He's so sorry. Before he passes out on the floor and someone else has to pay for his Uber because he doesn't have enough money to get it himself. And that's exactly why I'm looking for a risk-off event into CPI. And if the data's bad, maybe even a more major sell-off. sell-off that might bring us down to this 50-day moving average. Now keep in mind, the short-term selling will be rebought, okay? This does not mean that the rally's over, that we're out of this huge market melt up. I'm simply expecting a retracement, because remember, inflation is great for stocks, okay? Stocks usually do a really good job of keeping up with inflation. And speaking of stocks, I gotta take a moment and talk about what is likely the biggest headline of the week. Microsoft is confident that their new Windows computers could actually outperform Apple's new computers. This is huge because Apple has had a dominant lead in the space. It's the reason why they could charge a fortune for their computers, because those M3 chips, my God, they are good. But if Microsoft creates these new AI PCs and they get this huge lead in AI over Apple, and I mean, the market's already telling you, if you look at the market caps, that it favors Microsoft, but this could be the nail in the coffin for that company. This is big news if Microsoft can deliver, and I don't think it's even fully priced into the stock. Now, you know what else is Microsoft? Is this NVIDIA chart. We came in aggressively short Thursday, and that was our best trade of the week, was to short this stock, and I'm looking for a repeat trade. If we can break below this 858 target and maybe go all the way down to about 800, I'll watch for some support at this 830 or 820, but I'm looking for maybe a home run play to that 800. This will print huge if it happens. We've seen the weakness in the market. It's hard to justify this pricing in NVIDIA. I don't think that this is the high for the year. I think NVIDIA could easily go higher. The hype could continue, especially if, think about it, ChatGPT 5 comes out or something like that. But these are all going to take time, right? In the immediate term, I'm looking for this short move as a massive play for this week. Remember, if you like the video, drop a like and comment inflation down below. Check out the links if you want to join the trader community. I'll talk to you more there.